it's like ready to take on the mythos.
Yes.
Yeah.
I guess we'll see what the community wants. And
It's pretty close.
Delarp guy says, Rogue, we need more magical green cards. Sure. I mean, more magical all faction cards is good. I guess as a brief tease, that is sort of one of the themes of the Innsmouth Conspiracies campaign. This is going to be a lot more magic and spells spread throughout all 5 classes. Is that safe to say? I think that's in general, it's like a broad vision.
Definitely,
Yeah, a lot more arcane slots in all of the classes, so that's cool.
More interesting choices during deck building for all the classes.
For sure, yeah.
All right, just one more second. I'm just gonna. The numbers are still moving and positions are still moving, so I'm gonna wait.
Is
give
it
it
really,
just
really narrow? Is it heated?
So neutral has had a lead, but that lead has been shrinking for quite a while.
Neutral is interesting. A lot of people, when we do these design a card contests, they want it to be neutral because they want anyone to be able to take it.
Right.
But that's tricky because neutral cards have to be slightly below curve in order for it to be balanced. Because if you make a neutral card that's too good, then everyone grabs it and it just appears in everyone's deck.
Right.
Which is not what you want.
Well, it might be what the community wants here.
If it is, I mean, that's fine. It doesn't have to be weak. It just has to be slightly below curve. So maybe a little bit more expensive or a little bit higher level than it would otherwise be.
Yeah, exactly.
What would be like a level 3 rogue card might be a level 5 neutral card, that sort of thing.
All right. Well, let us give it 30 more seconds.
Anti-Markovikovian says, who is the art of? That is a good question. This was actually a character in the Call of Cthulhu LCG. Ian Hardaway was his name. So if we had picked Asset and then Ally, we probably would have just made it be him.
Right.
Again.
That would follow. Would follow.
But he didn't have any particular story behind him. He was just sort of an invention for that game. So we could have taken him in whatever direction we wanted to. Yeah.
He wasn't a Cthulhu faction. He came out of the Cthulhu deluxe box called the Sleeper Below. So.
But he had like the independent trait, right? So he was kind of like working for whoever. Yeah.
All right. Well, closing the voting. Survivor is our winner here in the end.
I dig it.
8 away at Neutral's lead.
Comeback.
Yes.
I like it. That's gonna look cool in the red frame with the flame.
The flames will look
cool. The art department always loves it when the art colors line up with the faction template colors.
It's very interesting, like looking at like the same piece of art in different frames and how it like makes different parts of the art pop. You know, if you take the same art and put it in different factions.
I would say we've actually started to kind of like examine that more often, like lately, and we'll be like, oh, give this card like a kind of warm hue because it's going to go in Seeker or Survivor, that sort of thing.
For sure. Yeah. For sure.
It's cool to see it line up.
All right.
Yeah. So
so that was. Oh, go for it.
Okay. Do we want to do level next, like you suggested?
I guess.
I like that.
A lore, or it's a Survivor, so.
Yeah. Don't do like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Just say like.
Right.
Let's say 3 options. Level 0, right? So it's like a starter card. Anyone can take it. Low level, high level. So low level would be like 1 to 2, and then high level would be like 3 to 5.
Yeah.
That sound good?
Yeah.
Yeah. Because that I think those are in broad terms. That's going to decide sort of like the power level of this card. Like if it's a level 0 card, any survivor can take it right off the bat in scenario 1, and also anyone who has access to survivor cards at all can probably take it.
I feel like high level is probably going to win since they're always clamoring for more high level survivor cards.
You're not wrong, but it's worth noting that high level has the most restrictions because you pretty much have to be a survivor to take it. Like you're not going to be an off-class survivor and have access to like level 5 survivor cards.
Right.
So
all you people who wanted a neutral card, if you go for like low level or level 0, you get the greatest usability.
Probably that's in the Venn diagram of people who picked neutral cards. It's going to overlap with people who pick level 0 for sure. Something that Mateo can take. Yeah, I mean that's possible if we gave it the blessed trait. I don't know if this looks particularly blessed, but maybe. We'll see. We'll see what happens. Yeah. It kind of depends on what this card ends up doing. Also, as Rudin points out, the high-level Survivor cards don't really exist very often. They're pretty much exclusively level 3, but we have started to include some higher-level Survivor cards in the game with Stella's starter deck.
Yeah, there's some real cool stuff in
It's
there.
still rare. It's still not going to be super common, but we can do level 4, level 5.
Just one of the cards last year for the design card called Soccer Knights was a Survivor card, so
Yeah.
which was a
People like Survivors.
higher level, so apparently, yeah, clearly.
That was a cool card, too. I like that one.
Shrine of the Morai.
Shrine of the Morai, yeah. I'm excited for that one to exist in the game for real.
Yeah, which is upcoming sometime. We'll
At some
see
point,
when.
yeah.
Yeah.
Not gonna lie, I forget what pack that's in.
All right.
So it's
In a pack.
It's in a
Yes,
pack already.
it's in a pack.
Closing the voting, low level is the winner with 59%. So a pretty decisive win there.
That makes sense. I think that's good because you get a little bit of power, but it's a splash card that other off-class survivors can take. Obviously, there will also be a distinction between 1 and 2, but we don't have to get into that right now.
Right.
We can decide that later.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because like Survivor events level 1, like Tony could take, right?
Yeah, that's interesting. That's interesting. So what next? Do we want to kind of throw out some broader themes that survivors typically engage in? Or?
Yeah, I think that's a good path to go down. So let's see, broad survivor themes, but more narrow than just survivor. Obviously surviving, right? Like they're good at tanking damage and horror, and just staying alive. They're good at soaking, basically. Recursion, yep. Recursion is a big survivor theme. Failing to win, I guess is what I would call that theme of like getting kickbacks whenever they fail. What else?
There's a lot of clamoring for Exile.
Exile, oh yeah, for sure.
Earlier.
Exile, put Exile in there, definitely.
Yep.
I would also say, in general, it's good that this is an event, because in general, survivors have strong, splashy events. I wouldn't put that down as a theme, but I'm just kind of noting that is a survivor thing. But that kind of falls into the Exile thing of like big, strong, splashy, one-time effects. I think if I were to say a final survivor theme, it would probably be like chaos bag manipulation, not to the extent of Mystics where they can like seal tokens, but like drawing multiple tokens and picking one, or that sort of thing of like helping them succeed basically at tests that should otherwise be way too difficult for them. Like this is a difficulty 5 test and I'm only a 2, but I did it because I'm lucky or because I have this other card or because I'm windy. Yeah,
for sure. So what I've got is surviving, soaking damage / horror, recursion, failing to win, exile, and chaos bag manipulation. Said about.
Yeah, Alex Vicegrab also says discarding cards for benefit. That makes sense too. Yeah,
As
that's a strong
another
survivor
option?
theme. That also makes sense for this because it's a thing that's on fire.
Okay. Discard for benefit.
So whatever wins this poll, it's not going to just be like the thing.
Right.
We might kind of gauge the percentages and see if like two things are really
Top
close.
two,
Yeah, we'll
combine them.
We'll combine them. Yeah, we'll see.
All
We'll
right.
see how it goes.
Well, let's start the poll.
Cool. What's your favorite of these themes, Jeremy? And why is it recursion?
Exactly. You know me too well. Recursion, yeah, it's clearly can be very powerful. So it's always nice to bring back your most powerful stuff and reuse again. So
Yeah. We got to be careful with recursion.
Very carefully, yeah.
Yeah, especially in a game like this where you only have a 30-card deck. You can get down there real quick and just start repeating the same cards over and over again, Jeremy. Just kidding.
I'm a power gamer.
Yeah. Well, I like recursion because just as a theme in general in card games, because the power of it is not obvious, right? Like it is almost never like this is directly progressing me towards my win condition, right? It is purely in the card gamer's dilemma, which is the manipulation of your options, right? And recursion allowing you to give yourself the options that you need, and kind of that indirect path to victory is really intriguing.
I think if you're new to card games, it's easy to write off like draw one card from your discard pile as being the same as draw one card, but really they're very different, and it's a lot stronger, especially in this game where you only have 2 copies of each card in your deck. So once you've seen it twice, that's it. Like you're not going to get it back. Yeah. Personally, I like the fail to win archetype.
Yeah.
Like Stella's just a lot of fun,
Yes.
and I love just being like, oh, I'm sorry, did I fail a skill test? All right, well, I'll draw 2 cards, and I'll do this, and I'll do this, and I'll get 2 clues, and also I did actually succeed, after all.
Yeah, that can be very good.
Oh, you have to click on screen instead of spamming chat. Yes.
Yes.
Yes, you have to click on screen. In your defense, we didn't know how these polls worked either until today, basically.
It's true.
Yeah.
We knew we wanted to do polls, and we figured it out for this.
All right, how are we at?
All right. I will close the voting in just a moment here, though we have a pretty clear winner and a pretty clear second place.
Okay, that's good.
Doesn't work for Twitch on PS4? Yeah, I would imagine not, unfortunately. And all right. So our big winner is Discard for Benefit with 40% of the vote, followed by Exile with 24% of the vote.
Okay.
And then everything else is low teens
It's
and
pretty
below.
low. Yeah. Okay.
So yeah.
Well, I like Exile is pretty easy because we could just slap Exile this card at the end of the effect and boom, it's an Exile card. That will affect its XP level, but at low level, it's perfectly primed to be an Exile card if it's like 1 or 2 XP.
Because we also have the Discard for Benefit, right? So,
That'll be like its primary effect. Will do something.
It could be something maybe where it's like discard it for a small effect or exile it for like the super version of that.
Sure. Or it could be like, like you play this card and you discard any number of cards from your hand, and you get something for every card you discarded, and then you exile that card. Or
that's cool.
Or you discard an asset that you have in play because you lit it on fire again, and then you get something back for it. And then or maybe we just combine the two and say exile for benefit, right? Like exile an asset that you control to do something really crazy powerful. That'd be pretty neat, because especially if you're exiling like a level 2 card, you're like, then you have to buy it back.
that's also like pretty like virgin ground, right? In terms of like let's exile this other random card.
We've never done exile a different card.
Yeah.
Before.
That's cool.
The tricky part is if you're exiling a level 0 card, it's not really any risk, right? You're just gonna buy it back for 0.
Oh, no, that's 1 XP,
right?
right?
Yeah, that's right. That's right. You still have to pay 1. Well, that's interesting, man.
It feels kind of somatic. You're lighting someone on fire. You just burn it, and there it goes.
And then I guess the question is, what do you get? What's the benefit? That's, I think, what we have to figure out. If it's like this is a conundrum that we get into often. I think when we're designing a card, we'll come up with like a really cool trigger, or a really cool like reaction trigger, or a really cool like cost, and then we have to come up with the effect, and that's really the clincher, right? Like whatever that is, that's the card. You know what I mean? So I think that's probably the next thing that we do. Yeah. Right? Is come up with like, what does this card actually do? So what are some effects that survivors are good at?
Should we plug to the community?
Yeah. Oh, do we maybe just read chat? Let us know. Let us know what you think the effect that what's the benefit that you're discarding or exiling some card to do.
Not doing a poll for this, to be clear.
Yeah, this just shout effects to poll.
Shout it out in the chat.
Shout it out in chat. Heal sanity. Prevent doom. Prevent doom again. So someone suggested exile this to recover this, exile this to recover this, like different levels.
Different levels based on.
That's interesting. I don't think that's going to
be a lot of text.
Yeah, it'd be a lot of text. Discard a treachery, gain an action.
Destroy weakness.
Exile an asset is an anti-combo with Yorick. That's true. But it's still cool. Destroy weakness. Treachery cancel. Prevent. I see a lot of prevent doom and a lot of treachery cancellation, which makes sense. That is a survivor thing. Those are both things that survivor can do. And
it does kind of lend itself to the art, where it looks like, at least in the bent we're kind of going, this guy is getting rid of this bad book, right? And it's like, this is no good. I lit it, a second ago.
Get clues for level of card discarded. I'm kind of digging this idea of taking a doom off the agenda, flipping it, and grabbing a clue.
Oh.
Would that be ridiculous? That might break some scenarios because you're not grabbing it from your location. Yeah, I always like to design cards that deal with the double-sided nature of the clue token. Healing sanity health based on discarded assets. Move doom from agenda to an asset. That would combo with a lot of mystic cards, but being that this is a survivor card, I'm not 100% sure how good that would. Exile a tome to upgrade a card in your deck mid-game.
I've seen a lot of stuff kind of based on a benefit that scales on the level of the card that you
makes
exile.
a lot of sense. That makes a lot of sense, right? Like if you're exiling a level 0 card, it should not be as strong as if you're exiling your Time-Worn Brand or something.
Right.
Right?
Right. Because ideally, I mean, I think like any good card creates options for you, right? And if it's just like exile a card, it's like, okay, there is technically an option between this level 3 card and this level 0 card, but not really.
What if it was, I don't know how well this will fit on a card, and this is one of the struggles with coming up with a card live. We don't have the template right in front of us that we can check, but what if it was like exile a card that you control and pick a number of options based on its level, and there's like 3 options. So if it's like, if you exile a level 2 card, you pick 2 of those options. If you exile a level 5 card, you could pick the same option more than once or something, you know? Like heal a horror, heal a damage, something else that's equivalent to healing horror, healing damage.
Or if there's space, have 5 options. So
Yeah, I don't know if that would fit. That's the tricky part.
Yeah.
And it's kind of hard to tell.
It's always a concern is not having enough space on a card for the text. So.
Right. It might be easier to just say like, do thing X times. You know what I mean? Like for each level on that card, do one of these things.
What kind of effect naturally ties in with the action of the portrayed in the art, right?
That's a good point. Well, yeah,
like recovering sanity.
Recovering sanity makes sense.
Is a pretty good
because
fit.
he definitely looks pretty like calm.
Yeah.
In comparison to the event that's happening. Gaining clues makes sense. Like, he could be gaining some information off of what's happening.
When this book burns, the smoke is this color.
What else? Preventing Doom. Preventing Doom makes sense, but it's really powerful.
Very powerful.
Yeah, so it can't be like a for each. You know what I mean? For each level of the exiled card, heal 1 horror, heal 1 damage, or remove 1 doom from the agenda. Yeah, so like that's a perfectly cromulent effect, but like removing a doom from the agenda is so much more powerful than healing that is kind of tricky to balance. You would just prevent 5 doom, remove 5 doom. That's crazy good. What if it's like bury them deep for a treachery? That's interesting. So bury them deep is Yorick's signature card that lets you basically cancel an enemy, or not cancel an enemy, but you defeat an enemy and then you take them out of the deck and you earn victory points. I don't think we'd want this to earn victory points because that sort of counteracts the point of the exile of having to spend victory points to do it, essentially. But something like that could be cool.
Yeah.
Add bless tokens to the bag. Well, that's tricky. That's tricky because whatever product we put this in might not have bless and curse tokens. So we can't. I don't think we can rely on that being a mechanic.
Right.
Yeah. Okay, so let's pick a few and then make a poll.
Yeah.
Sound good? Okay.
All right.
So let's just say healing, right? Because that's like a pretty broad. Yeah, we can deal with the specifics later. Doom.
That's probably gonna be a popular one, but put it on there.
Yeah, put it on there. And then let's say clues. Yeah, clues. And why don't we throw
like dealing damage?
Yeah,
potentially.
you can throw putting damage on there.
I haven't seen too many asking for that.
It's worth it.
We could also just have 3 options. Like we can just have healing, doom, and clues. That seems fine.
Yeah.
Boom. Starting the poll.
Yeah. Let's see which of these effects do you like more, and we'll kind of gauge people's interest. If it seems like no one really cares about one of them, maybe we'll just focus in. I do kind of like this trigger a lot though, or this cost of like exile another card. Do we want it to only be a card that's in play, or maybe a card in your hand?
Exile your friend's card.
Exile someone else's card. This isn't a rogue card, Evan.
I just like any kind of card that's like lets me turn a cooperative game.
Exile a card from their hand. No, my 45 tops. Exile any card in play.
Any card.
Well, not any card. It's got to be a player card. Can't just be an enemy. It sounds like people prefer
exile your investigator card.
Or if we have room, CZ suggests exile a card in your hand with a bonus. if you chose a card in play. So kind of like active desperation, right? You can ditch a card from your hand, but if you ditch one from play, that's even better.
Definitely cool. I like that.
Yeah. Or it could be like discard an asset from play or exile a card from your hand.
Ooh.
And then it does kind of combo with Yorick if you want it to. And if you don't want it to and you want to go full exile and you have like Deja Vu, you can do that path instead. It's kind of interesting.
All right, let's see what.
How to make your party hate you. Blow up their books.
All right,
Yeah.
Doom is the winner by far.
Okay, yeah,
Clues in second place, Healing a distant third.
Okay, so I like this direction. I like Doom prevention. The tricky part is the scaling, right? Because we sure as heck can't say remove one Doom for each level on that card.
Yeah.
We could say get this other milder benefit like healing, and if it's a certain level, also remove a Doom.
That could be like maybe reserved for if you exile a level 5 or something like that.
Maybe not 5, but like 3 plus.
Sure.
Like 3. So Fortune or Fate is the card that cancels Doom being placed on something, and that's I think level 3 exile, right?
I believe so.
Yeah. So it should be. It can't be more efficient than that because that's all that card does.
Yes.
So that's the tricky part. So yeah, maybe.
But at the same time, yeah, the exile 3 option can't be less good than that, right?
Yeah. So Fortune or Fate though does have a slight benefit in that it's a reaction to Doom being placed. You can hold it in your hand if you really need it. This is remove a Doom, and this could take an action. So yeah, maybe it actually does work out quite well.
Okay.
So I'm thinking right off the bat, and this isn't like a final, but
yeah.
my first thought is like, pick a card, exile, whatever, and for every level on that card, heal, like a damage or a horror. If that card is level 3 plus or level 4 plus, also remove a Doom from play. Is that doing too much?
I don't know. Exiling a card is definitely
It's pretty big, and this card is also level 1 or 2. We decided, so you have to buy a level 1 or 2 card, and then you also have to buy back whatever card you're exiling. So it's expensive, experience-wise, but it's good. That's a good effect. If you exile like a level 3 card, you get like 3 healing and remove a Doom. That's pretty great. That's like a logical reasoning plus Fortune or Fate at the same time, depending on what this card costs.
I like kind of the scenario that I'm sort of seeing like being set up between like the cost of this card and how it could be used in play, right? Like I'm seeing this is probably going to be used because the cost is so high. It's like this is going to be used when you need it to like win a scenario or because you're not going to lose it. Sure. You're not going to use it if like we're going to lose no matter what. It's like we have to know like if we do this, we have a real shot to win this scenario.
Yeah.
So you're basically spending experience, the resource you get for winning or for completing scenarios in order to like, all right, well, let's just get that last little bit we need to cross the finish line on this scenario, which I think is very interesting.
And it's also possible if we do that idea that I said earlier of like, it's only a discard if it's a card that's in play, but if it's a card in your hand, it's an exile, then that would make it a lot more powerful for sure. Because especially in that like last ditch, I'll just discard this baseball bat or whatever, and boom. I guess if it's a level 0 card, it does nothing now. But if you're discarding a card from play, that's a lot more likely that you'll have I have my level 3 Rabbit's Foot. I'll just discard it and heal 3 horror and remove a Doom. Whew, that's a lot. That's really powerful. Flip a clue token in the air. Flip a clue token you have. If Doom shows up, prevent next Doom. If clue shows up, you lose the clue and see it burned. So that's really fun. But yeah. So yeah, that's what Caesar says. Love watching the design process in action. That is, I'm glad that you love it because it is a lot of this. It's a lot of like, you know what I mean? Which is why I wasn't 100% sure how well this would translate. I'm glad that you guys are enjoying it because it's a lot of just me and Jeremy being like,
just kind of staring off into space.
Yeah, and sometimes it requires getting up, walking away, and coming back in like an hour. You know what I mean? If it's a particularly tough card.
Well, that's what we're gonna do.
Usually we don't sit down and do one card for like an hour. That's not. Typically, we'll just go through, and if we get stuck on something, we'll just move along. We'll come back to it later. Sometimes we'll come up with one card, and that will spiral off into 8 other cards.
Sure.
Yeah, like Jeremy did that in a recent thing that we're working on right now, that we can't talk about.
Let's see. Is there another poll that we could do to help us narrow in?
Do we? So I think everyone seems to enjoy this idea. Yeah. So let's recap. So we did the poll for card type.
Yep.
We know it's a player card. We know it's an event.
Yep.
I think
Survivor.
event won by long enough of a margin that we don't need to revisit any other options for like skill or asset.
Yeah.
I think that's
Mhm.
pretty set in stone.
Yeah.
Let's see. Class. Survivor, I think won pretty well for that one.
Neutral.
It was almost
was
neutral.
close. Yeah, it was almost neutral. And then we did the poll to see if it was high level, low level, or no level. And
Yep.
everyone picked low level, pretty much overwhelming.
That was a pretty good
pretty
majority.
overwhelming.
Yep.
Do we want to continue along this line of logic of like Exile, or do we want to? What was the second thing?
So
it was just Exile and
discard for
discarding.
benefit actually won, I
Right,
believe.
that's true.
And then Exile was the secondary choice.
We can keep going along this line and leave this, and we'll like poll it later, right, to see if this is what we want. Or we can. Blessed Ignorance is a good name. That is a good name. That's a really good name.
Yeah.
I like that. We might use that. What else? What are some other themes that jump out at you looking at this card, Jeremy?
Yeah, I do like the exiling a card or possibly discarding an asset, since I like the tension of exiling a card from hand or else discarding a card you already played in play.
Mm-hmm.
And it completely fits thematically, like, discarding a card from play, yeah, you kind of just light on fire and get some sort of benefit for doing that.
I wish I had brought a notepad.
we can get paper and a pencil or something.
Destroying a clue. Ooh, that's interesting. That's tough.
That
though,
seems
'cause
like
it's
you
gotta
could
go
break
back
a
to the
scenario.
location. Yeah, it's got to go
Yeah.
back to the location. It's got to be like drop a clue. Otherwise, you'll notice that all the effects that do that say drop a clue or place a clue at your location. Otherwise, you could just run out of clues, and that's not good. Well, look at that. Thank you. Wow. Thank you so much. What a good servant. So we got. I'm just writing. I want to write like the full text of what we have so far, so that I don't forget later. So we've got action arrow. Boom. Choose a card in play, or in your play area. In your play area, or in your hand. Or let's not even say choose. Let's just say discard a card in your play area, or exile one in your hand. For each level, would we say for each level on that card, or would we say do X thing? X is the level of that card. I don't think we've ever said for each level on that card before. It makes sense though. For each level that card has.
Would it make more sense to phrase it like, obviously this is not the effect, but like remove X Doom, X is the level of the discarded or exiled card?
But again, we don't want to do remove X Doom.
Right, of course.
Yeah,
No.
it would have to be heal X damage.
Correct.
X is
Right, my suggestion was on the phrasing, not the...
Heal X damage / horror. I guess the downside to that wording is, here's the unexciting part of our job. Getting the wording right.
Niggling over wording.
If we say heal X damage / horror, that makes it sound like it all has to be one. That's okay by me. You can't split it up then, right?
Yeah, it'd be nice to split it up so
it would be cool.
Wasting potential there.
That's why the for each wording is nice, because it makes it clear that you're doing it that number of times.
Right.
But for now, I'll just write heal X damage / horror. X is that card's level. And if that card level is 3 or higher, remove 1 doom. Do we want to say remove 1 doom from play or just from the agenda?
I like agenda if you was survivor.
It's also, that makes it slightly less weak than Fortune or Fate, because Fortune or Fate I think is anywhere, if I remember correctly. Or maybe I'm remembering wrong, but
Try to let us know.
yeah, look it up. Tell us. This will breathe new life into tabooed in 1903 Springfield. It's a good card. All right. Remove 1 doom from the agenda. It's a little wordy, but it's not crazy. It's just one effect. like in terms of, oh, this doesn't have an action arrow, it's an event. Here's another cool idea that's different from what we have that we can like add to a poll later. Discard cards from the top of your deck and do stuff for each, something discarded in this way. Like he says, remove Doom for every weakness discarded. That's really good because you're getting like extra benefit because you're already removing a weakness. But I kind of like discarding cards from your deck. That's kind of interesting.
It should be noted as we so we've written this with healing. Healing was the least voted on, right? It was Doom,
but it is the one that
Doom
scales
first,
the best,
and then
with level.
clues, and then healing. Yeah, it is the easiest one to scale there.
Yeah, it's really the only one that scales that well.
Right.
You can't say clues scaling with level. That's too crazy. You could just say, like, we don't have to scale it with level, obviously, but
it could just have the 3 or higher kicker.
It could just be like, do this. If the card's level 3 or higher, do this as well.
Do that.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, we could go back to you're not flipping it over and taking it as a clue, but it could be like, prevent a Doom or remove a Doom. If it's 3 or higher, also grab a clue.
We could.
Oh. I like these kind of effects where it's like, do this or do this. If this, do both. Right? So it could be like, get a clue from your location or remove a Doom from the agenda. If the card's level is 3 or higher, do both.
We could ask the chat if they want scaling or binary. Is that
that's fair. Yeah,
right.
I think that's good. Do we want it to scale? It's going to scale with the level either way, but do we want it to scale 1 for 1, which would make it so that level 0 cards do nothing, which is maybe good, or do we want it to just do one thing, and if it's a certain level, do an additional bonus thing? I just want to keep my friend from reading the dangerous book they've become obsessed with. I think I've done that. Don't read that book. Read this book instead.
Hands.
This is talking about exiling another card or discarding. I think we've settled on, and this isn't 100% set in stone, but I think we've settled on, if it's in play, you're discarding it. And if it's in your hand, you're exiling it. That way, I mean, maybe. That way, what's cool about that is, like, if you have to go out of your way to play the card first if you're doing the discard option, which is expensive and takes an action or whatever. But you can also combo it with Yorick, which is kind of cool, potentially. Have it write something in the campaign log. Well, then we'd have to follow it up. Oh, for no real reason. Yeah. He knows my design style.
The campaign log is fun.
Yeah, the campaign log is fun. Put stuff in it, even if it means nothing.
You're revealing too much.
Recording your campaign log, you have burned the book. If this is the first Doom on the agenda, remove Doom. Oh, so like you can only remove Doom if it's the only one on there. That's kind of tough. Like if you miss it, you just recording the campaign log. The investigators burn all the books. Slow-Eyed Joe's idea. What's that one? Exile, discard an asset you control. Reveal X tokens where X is the level of the exiled card. For each symbol token drawn, remove a Doom from the agenda. I don't hate that. Because, like, obviously there's a luck factor there, which is can be good, can be bad. But that's kind of interesting.
All right, so the binary option was the strong winner over scaling 1 for 1 with level.
Okay, so then I think we just do something akin to what we're saying here, and I think clues was like the next in line after Doom, right? In that previous poll. So do we like the? I don't know.
Yeah, if that's what chat wants, clues and Doom.
Do we want to poll to see if everyone likes the idea that we came up with, or if we want to keep going?
Oh,
how long do we have?
Good idea. So we're allotted to end in like 5 minutes.
Oh no!
But obviously we can push this a little further.
No, we don't have to. I think this is a perfectly cromulent card. I mean, playtesting will tell us if it's good or not.
You lost points for using that word again. I have to say, this is the second time.
Corrupted me. Okay, I've never even heard that word before, Brad.
Oh yeah.
And then he said it every day for like 8 years of my life.
It's like, you get the Scrabble score the first time you use it, but then every subsequent usage is -5 points.
Okay, but at least I didn't say grok.
Yeah. Ooh. That's an automatic -20 points.
Okay, so let's throw up a poll that just says, do we like this card? And once again, I'll say what it is. So, it's an action. It's an event. No requirement. Discard a card in your play area or exile a card in your hand. Discover a clue at your location or remove a doom from the agenda. If that card's level is X amount or higher, we'll say 3, but it could be 2, whatever. Do both instead.
Okay.
So,
I've
discard a
started
level
the
3
poll.
card from your hand, get a clue and prevent a doom. Or sorry, exile from your hand, or discard my level 3 rabbit's foot from play to do that. That's powerful if it's from play. Whew. Especially if you're Yorick.
That's very worried.
Yeah,
For play, you're not exiling it, so it
yeah.
should almost be just exile, period.
Do we want it to just be exile?
For removing Doom, it probably should be. It's very powerful. Maybe give more clues in one, maybe 2 clues.
Yeah, it could still be exile from play or from hand, and it gets yet another bonus if it's from play. You know what I mean?
So 1 clue from hand, 2 from if it's from play.
Maybe. Yeah.
If that would
Two-
fit.
And 2 doom, or still just 1 doom?
1 Doom. one Doom's enough.
I do see in the chat, someone says, not bad, but will anyone ever exile a card to gain 1 clue?
No.
He's got a point. And this is the kind of thing that, like, when I'm in design mode, I'm not 100% thinking about, like, during gameplay. I'm just thinking about, like, cool ideas.
Right.
So that's helpful. So yeah, I think 2 clues though is pretty sweet. 2 clues and remove a doom. 2 clues and or remove a doom.
What's the threshold for Doom? 3+? Is that what we decided? Or
It doesn't have to be. It doesn't.
Okay.
Now that we've changed it a bit now. It's always exiling. So maybe 2+ would be
Yeah.
okay.
all right.
So what are we at?
Yes.
Yes,
It's a cromulent
it is a
card.
cromulent. You wrote cromulent. The cromulence is questionable at best. All right, so we're going to stick with this kind of card.
Yep.
We might go a little bit late, but I don't think we're going to go too
Yeah,
late.
that's fine.
Let's throw up another poll.
Yep.
Do you want it to do discard or exile, or only exile? I think that will determine the power level of the effect, right? Because if it's only exile, then it has to be really good, right?
Yep. Just trying to figure out how to word
Situational
this.
card you'd only use on your last scenario. Maybe it depends on your deck. If you have Deja Vu in your deck, this could be a card you play every time. If you have 2 copies of Deja Vu, this could be a card that you play every scenario for sure. You could exile a level 2 card every time and not really care. Anti-Markov, I can never get your full name in one breath. Only exile. You can't unburn a card. He's got a point.
I agree.
Yeah. Exiling non-exile cards means you can swap out level 0 cards for free. It gets, like, adaptable. Oh, right, because if you exile a level 0 card, you don't necessarily have to pay 1 to get it back, because if your deck size is below...
Sure, yeah, because
if your deck is below
yep.
your deck size, you just get them back for free. That is interesting. We might have to put a kicker... We might have to put some kind of thing that it has to be level 1+.
Some people really want this to be acknowledged. Discard for clue, exile for doom.
That's not bad. Or exile for both, maybe, right?
All right.
Choose a card.
This,
What if it's like, choose a card in your hand or play area, discard it, or exile it, right? Do something with clues. If you exiled it, also get the Doom Kicker.
yes.
Let's see. What are they?
Let's
Discard for
see.
either, exile for both.
So
Yeah.
having the option to
Okay.
discard or exile was the winner, versus you must exile to use this effect.
Okay. Yeah, I think what I was just saying was kind of neat. I don't know. What do you think, Jeremy?
Yeah, it's a little more complicated card, but I think we would hash out a
So-
wording that would work.
So, like, choose a card in your hand or play area. Choose card in. This is riveting.
Yeah.
Hand or play. Discard or exile. Discover. How many clues? 2 clues?
I mean, if it's a base action, yeah, probably should 2 clues.
Discover 2 clues. Discover 2 clues. This doesn't sound like blessed ignorance anymore, though, right? Because you're learning.
Yeah.
Ooh. While I'm writing this down, you guys come up with cool card titles and throw in chat.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Cool card titles.
And you too. And you too. Discover 2 clues. Have you exiled? I would love it if this still also scaled the level, right?
That's to me the interesting part of the level. Like,
discover. Let's see. We've got some titles here: Flames of Revelation, Burn Notice, Blessed Ignorance again.
I like Burn Notice.
The 451, as in Fahrenheit 451.
Fires of Wisdom.
We Must Burn It. Too Dangerous to Allow.
Purged by
Burn
fire.
After
Burn
Reading.
After
That's
Reading.
pretty good.
That's pretty good. Burn while reading.
Guidance of Cthulhu. Cthulhu's Touch. So something with Cthulhu potentially. Burn
I
After
feel like a
Reading's
lot of people are
pretty
putting
good.
Blessed in the title so that we can sneak Blessed in the trait so Father Mateo can see it. Don't worry.
We see your
Don't
mind.
worry. He's getting a lot of new cards. Okay. All right. What if it was discover clues equal to half the card's level? Like rounded up. So if you do like a level 5, you discover 3 clues, but you exile a level 5 card.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty cool. And it's rounded up, so if you exile a level 0 card, you still get 1.
I suppose so. It is more complicated, a little more involved, but
I think that's the only way to get clues to scale with level without it being really wonky.
That's cool though. I like that.
If you exiled also, would it be crazy if it said also remove that much doom?
yes.
See, this is
3 clues. And 3
Jeremy's
doom.
like, what
welcome
are you
to
doing?
detention. I like it, and Jeremy is like,
I do kind of with standalone play.
yeah.
Like,
I mean,
there's really no cost to exiling cards in standalone. You just
sure, that's true. But yeah, that's fine. You still exile a level 5 card, right? To remove 3 doom. Like, that's probably like whatever the most powerful. That's the linchpin of your deck. You're exiling it just to get some extra time.
Yeah, just depends what the card is. Like, you can get some use out of it if it's in play.
And you're a survivor, so you probably don't have a lot of level 4 or 5 cards anyway.
Oh, that's a good point.
Right? Unless you're splashing this in.
You most likely splash.
You're probably splashing this. If this is like a level 1 or 2 card.
I think it's a good point. Is you're most likely going to splash this card then. Like, the survivor itself
That's okay though.
doesn't get much.
It's okay to. I like when we have cards that are like, yeah, this is really a splash card. You know what I mean? This is a card that like off-class survivors want to take. Can we have a poll on this? Would you ever exile a high-level card? That's a trick question because it depends on what it does, right? If I said, would you ever exile a card to heal 1 horror? You say no. But if I said, would you ever exile a high-level card to remove 3 doom and gain 3 clues?
Yeah,
I think it might. I mean, obviously, playtesting will determine if this is too crazy or not, but I'm kind of leaning towards going that way. And we can also play with its costs.
Also, because the last scenario of a campaign, like again,
Right. Last scenario of a campaign, you're just going to do it.
pretty why not? So
Yeah.
Depending what the card is, you
Right.
if there's that big of a benefit. It's
But if it's a
probably
level
worth
5 card, you probably put it in your deck to use it.
it.
And now you're exiling it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
It kind of depends. Yeah, it's tricky. I kind of like it. I don't know. Maybe being able to get rid of 2 or 3 doom is too much, but what do we want to? Let's say okay.
Let's have
put
a
up
poll
that
of some of
says,
the best
is
titles.
Matt insane for thinking that removing 3 doom is viable?
Okay.
Archivist de Arkham says 3 doom is too powerful. It's 3 more turns. Yeah, but you're exiling a level 5 card.
I'm gonna vote
It's
for
so
yes.
good. I'm gonna vote no. I don't think I'm crazy. Worth considering. There's a 5
crazy.
XP Myriad card currently. That is true. That is true. But I believe the way that the Myriad rules are written, if you got rid of one of them, you'd still have to pay full price to get that one back, right? Because Myriad says when you purchase one, you can purchase the other 2 as a set for free. So if I exiled one copy of like Spiritual Resolve, I'd still have to pay full price to get that one copy back. If I exiled all 3, then I could pay the full price to get all 3 of them back. That's a cool combo,
that's a
though.
really
Yeah,
good
that's kind of
combo.
neat. I mean, I think that's cool.
Multiple copies of this card we're designing right now.
What I like about that is it encourages you to use it scenario after scenario after scenario, as opposed to just using it once at the end of the campaign. Right?
Yeah, that does seem very powerful.
All right. The results are
Danthar42
in.
says, kill, kill, kill the players.
The results are in. Yes, you're crazy.
I am crazy. Okay. All right. I'm crazy. All right. So just discover clues equal to
Shocking,
half
no
its
one.
level. If you exile it, it also removes 1 doom. And then we can make it pretty cheap because it's not potentially buying you 3 turns.
We can always change this during testing too. It's not like
Yes.
this is final
Yeah. This is
version.
not set in
We
stone.
can
This is just a beta version.
definitely.
Correct.
And please
Modified.
play it and tell me and tell Jeremy what you think. Like, if you play it and it's still not good enough, maybe we'll throw that extra couple of doom back on, right?
Should we do a poll on title, like some good titles we've
Yes.
seen?
Yeah.
Let's do a poll on title. So I liked Burn After Reading. I thought that was
Yeah,
good.
that was so good.
I liked. I'm gonna have to scroll up a bit because there's too much. It's Brexit again. I'm not sure about that. Burn. Let's see.
Recap the whole card and I'll put it on screen.
Oh, okay. Yes. Let's see. So, Survivor event. We don't have a cost yet because that'll be the last thing that me and Jeremy just pick. We won't vote on that. Same thing with icons. We'll just add those at the end. So Survivor event. It's a level. Do we want it to be level 1 or 2? We never decided. I think 2, 1, maybe 1.
We
Now that
can
we've-
probably vary that too, depending on what the final effect is. Like,
Yeah.
if it is a pretty powerful effect, it's more level 2. If it's not maybe not quite as powerful, we do level 1.
I'm leaning towards 1 now that we've scaled it back a little bit.
Yeah, for now, yeah.
So I think
Go
for
with
now,
it.
maybe we'll pick
Yeah.
1. Right. So event. We don't have a trait yet. Discard or exile a card in your hand or in your play area. Discover clues equal to half that card's level. If you exiled that card, or in addition, if you exiled that card, remove 1 doom from the current agenda.
Hey, Matt.
Did I go too fast?
Yeah. Burn After Reading.
Okay.
Survivor event. Level 1.
Yep.
Eh?
Oh, okay. Discard or exile a card in your hand or play area. Discover clues equal to half that card's level.
So let's break in.
Discover clues equal to half that card's level. I'm sure the mask isn't helping.
Yeah.
Round it up.
Oh, round it up. Yes, thank you. Round it up. In addition,
This all doesn't fit.
Yeah, I don't think this is gonna
It's
work.
a lot of text.
Hold on.
Let's
It'll fit on the
let's keep
card.
going with this poll here. So we have Burn After Reading. We have Blessed Ignorance. What other?
oh, okay, yeah, I
What
gotta
other
scroll.
title?
Fires of Light of Knowledge, Fires of Knowledge, Amazon Kindle. No, I don't think we could do that one. I can't scroll up anymore. If you came up with a cool title, post it again.
Purge by Flame.
Purge by Flame. Yeah, Purge by Flame is cool, or Purged by Flame. Either one is cool. Burning Destiny. Burning Revelation is kind of neat. Written in the Flames. That's kind of cool.
Okay, I have 6.
Okay. What's your favorite title?
Of these options,
Ashes to Ashes is also kind of cool, but
that is cool.
yeah. Immolation Script. I'm just reading other ones that we missed. Blessing of Cthulhu. Blessing of the Cthulhu is pretty cool too.
That is cool.
Yeah, actually. Curse. I wouldn't mind that one be on this poll, but that's okay. If one of the poll options is 42%, I'm going to go with Blessing of Cthulhu. That's right.
This is the internet. And
Yeah.
that's how it works now.
We can't do Forbidden Knowledge because that's already a card. Invocation to Cthulhu, also cool. Out of the Ashes for that Netrunner tie-in. Oh, Progress with Wolves! You know my heart too well! Is it okay that teamwork lets you exile another player's cards? Yes. Yes. Forgot to pay the heating bill. Do you still need the rest of that text, or is it not going to fit? Ryan?
I have that whole text.
Okay.
All right. And Burn After Reading.
Burn After
is
Reading.
our winner.
I think that was my favorite.
It is certainly my favorite
Yeah.
as well.
So, going with that theme, I think that the insight trait makes the most sense, and it discovers clues. So I kind of dig that. I also kind of like the fact that. No, never mind. You can't versatile it into Joe. That would be really cool. So insight. Do we want it to have any other traits?
Should we ask the chat? Anything else they want to see?
How much time do we have?
It is 5:12.
How much?
Cur-
How many more
currently
polls
on
do you want to run?
screen- Currently on screen, what you have chosen.
Yes.
Burn After Reading.
Yes.
Survivor Event.
Yes.
Level 1.
Indeed.
Discard or exile a card.
You're correct.
That's all that has been locked in so far.
What? No, there's more.
No. There's a lot more on that.
Well, that's what I'm saying. You got to tell me.
All right. Discover clues equal to half that card's level, rounded up.
Oh, I have that. Yeah.
Oh, okay. In addition, if you exiled that card, remove one doom from the current agenda.
Lots of people asking for the Blessed trait.
Yeah, I do see a lot of blessed on here. So, like, other event traits that are common: fortune, spell, spirit. Ritual is usually not on events; it's usually on assets. Let's see, blessed or
Blessed.
cursed. Improvised. No. It sounds like people like blessed. I mean, I like blessed being on this card in general, but I don't know if it fits the theme anymore. Like, this seems more like I'm smart and I know to burn this book, and I get some clues after it.
Yeah,
And I get to remove a
agree.
doom because I burned the book.
I
Actually,
agree.
I'm really digging the theme of this. It's like I read the book, got the clues, boosh. Now it's on fire. Remove a doom.
I can
You know what I mean?
I can handle this evil knowledge.
I kind of like it, and
But
I
it
kind of
needs
like
to
that
be-
you can also do it with a baseball bat. The last community card also got blessed, so that is something that is important to keep in. So I think just insight makes sense to me.
Agreed.
I can't think of any. Fortune doesn't really make sense. Doesn't sound like you're being lucky. You're just kind of doing it. You're being proactive. Spirit maybe, but it doesn't really do any of the themes that Spirit deals with. Like insight deals with clues and stuff, so that works. But like, no, I think just Spirit. Sorry, I think just insight.
Yeah. Yep.
Ritual. I just said no. Rituals on assets.
If we say it enough.
Is this a tactic? Tactics usually deal with enemies, but not always. It could maybe be a tactic. What would be the repercussions of that?
They're saying that Mark can take it.
Mark can take it. You know, I kind of dig Mark taking a card that lets you light something on fire. What do you think, Jeremy?
I'd rather leave it as insight for now, and
Sure, we can always add it.
maybe,
It could also be a
maybe try
trick.
testing it as
Trick? It's not really tricky.
Yeah. I feel like insight is
I
the
think
only
just
one
insight,
that
I think just insight.
really fits.
If during playtesting we decide that we really want Mark to be able to take this card, we'll maybe add tactic.
maybe.
Maybe, yeah. So that's a big maybe. That's a big maybe. It also means that like you could take stick to the plan and like have this on it, which is pretty good. It being insight means you can repeat it with eidetic memory, and it has some synergy with Joe that he can't take. So it doesn't actually synergize with Joe. Occult would be cool. So the occult trait, we tend to reserve the occult trait for when it's a card that's going to develop into like a spell. That's kind of like what the occult trait is for. That's why like Akachi has access to it, because we want her to be able to take stuff like archaic glyphs that isn't a spell, she wouldn't normally have access to, but it's going to develop into a spell that we want her to have access to. So Occult does make sense thematically for this, but it doesn't really work with what this card is doing. I hope that kind of explains. I know a lot of people were confused about the Occult trait because it's only on like 4 cards.
For sure.
But that's why.
Is there anything else that we want to really nail down, or have we got kind of the basic?
I think the last thing is the cost, the
Okay.
resource cost. But I think when we've done these councils in the past, we usually just like look at the final card and just decide what its cost should be. We don't usually poll that. Because obviously, if we poll it, everyone's just going to say 0.
No, cost needs to be balanced.
Yeah, but I think that since this card already has a heavy cost of having to discard some other card or exile some other card, it doesn't have to be that expensive.
Yeah, probably not. But it probably should say non-weakness, exile non-weakness card.
Oh,
But
yeah,
just-
okay, yes.
Somebody mentioned in chat there.
Woo.
Good point.
Non-weakness. Thank you. That is something that we usually have to hammer out during alpha testing. Let's see. 1 cost? 2 cost?
Red cost, blue cost.
X cost, where X is the number of clues that you got? No,
That's more
It's a little
text
more
now.
complicated. Yeah.
No, forget that. I think just like 1.
Yeah, is that even?
I mean,
It's hard to say. Exiling card is kind of. This is kind of new, so for a separate card, like
in its most
based on
raw,
level.
most powerful form, in my opinion, you take like a level 3 card in your hand that you don't have no use for, and you just discard it. You're like Catrice, right? And you just discard this card, and then you get like 2 clues. That's great, right? An action for 2 clues. It's like Scene of the Crime. But Scene of the Crime is only 2 cost, right?
It's also very good.
It is very good, yeah. But this is also level 1, Scene of the Crime's not. I think even in that form, this is pretty well balanced. I mean, we'll see in the long run. If you discard a level 5 card, you get 3 clues, but that was probably a really good card that you wanted to play.
This is more versatile too, though. So like you could
Let's say 2 cost.
just start there and see how it goes.
Same
but
as
yeah,
same as Scene of the
seems-
Crime, yeah.
Yeah, there is definitely pros and cons to each card. So
I think it is pretty close to Scene of the Crime in terms of power level. It just has some added complexity and benefits to it that Scene of the Crime doesn't have. This is a really good Patrice card.
Yeah.
Like, this is a really good Patrice
Definitely.
card, and it's a really good Yorick card. And yeah, I think this is going to be cool. All right, so we want to recap.
Yeah, let's read it off one more time.
So,
and then
Burn
we'll,
After Reading is a 2-cost Survivor event. It's level 1. It has the Insight trait. Discard or exile a card in your hand or play area. Discover clues equal to half that card's... Oh, it should say discard or exile a non-weakness.
Yep.
Card. Can we decide icons? I think we'll probably just pick it right now. I think so. Like,
Okay.
this is a very book heavy kind of event in my mind. So I feel like it should have intellect icons, maybe will icons, maybe both. Events typically have 1 more icon than assets. That's how we kind of distribute it. And level 1 cards usually have the same number of icons as level 0, generally speaking. So for this card, like 2 icons. So like will and intellect.
yeah, I could start with that and see how it goes.
I know Jeremy likes the double icons.
I do, 'cause, yeah, it's more powerful, but this card, I mean, it's only level 1, so I think
It
it's
could be
probably
double
fine.
intellect, but I think will intellect makes sense.
Or possibly 1 wild. It's,
Maybe. That's tricky because this is a card you don't always want to play, right? Sometimes you're like, I don't want to have anything. I want to discard or exile. So it having a wild icon makes it really nice because
more versatile.
it's
yeah.
more versatile.
Which
Sure.
That's potentially a
Let's
good
do it,
thing.
yeah.
'Cause
No, wild icon. I like it. It's cool. Fairs will be happy.
All right.
Does this card make Min OP? Does it? It's cool that Min can take it, but I don't know if it synergizes with her kit explicitly. Still about committing cards.
It really depends on like, the level 5 card.
I guess it's good because she has a lot of cards in her hand
Is there-
generally. But
Is there certain level 5 cards that you'd want to easily exile, like to take advantage of, like
not that I can think of.
the myriad is
Just
kind
the
of
myriad ones, yeah. I
that's
think the most powerful one is
definitely-
probably the blue Spiritual Resolve. It's like level 4 or 5 or something. Yeah. Patrice can do this easily 4 times a game. Yeah, she sure can.
All right. So I think we got our card.
Yes.
Here.
Sorry.
No.
This would go on for another 2 hours if it was up to me.
Just gonna read the chat, but we all have to get home.
Yes, we do.
And actually put this card into a template so that we can.
Yes.
Put it.
Do you
out
want to
you
talk
guys.
about the plan?
Yeah. Go for
Okay.
it.
No, I was asking if you wanted to talk about the plan.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I can talk about it.
So yes, so we've got the card now. Thank you to all of you, and we're gonna go back to our houses where our work computers are. Now that we're all working from home, and Matt or Jeremy, one of them, is going to take this card and format it up and put it into a nice little PDF, and send it over to me. And at that point, I will put it on the website and I will tweet about it on our Twitter channel. Approximately, how long are you thinking? Like you have to drive home and then you have to put this card in.
Yeah, like an hour.
An hour or so.
It won't take me that long to actually whip the card together.
Okay,
There'll be technical problems,
we'll say
I'm sure.
in about an hour and a half or so. So maybe around 7-ish. Though don't crucify us if that doesn't happen because we have other things happening. But tonight, for sure, tonight,
Look for it.
this card will be up on the website and we'll tweet about it and then it will appear in a future product in its real live non-beta form.
Can we squeeze in one little? We need to decide what the moniker is going to be. Card designed by who?
Oh yes.
Yeah. So typically when we don't know, we just say the council. But this is a mighty big council, so maybe like I don't know, the horde. We could just say the community.
Yeah. It'd be nice to like tie it to GenCon in some way. So by like the GenCon card council.
Ooh, the
Gen Council.
I like the conspirators.
The Gen
That's kinda
Conspiracy.
Cool. The quarantined. That's a bit too on the nose, I think. The Council in Exile. That's pretty cool.
That is pretty good.
I kind of like that.
Council in Exile.
Yeah. I kind of dig that. I kind of just want to go with that.
Okay.
Let's do it. The Council in Exile. Yes. It fits. It's a double entendre. I know it's entendre, but
yeah,
I like saying it like that.
Yes. And it's not even because those are explicitly sexual in nature. So.
Oh, is it? Oh my goodness.
I believe
okay,
that's the
not
connotation.
that then. My bad. I thought that just meant a word that means 2 things. All right.
It's all right. All right. Awesome. So we will have this up for you guys tonight. This was awesome. Thank you
this was a lot of
guys
fun.
Thank you.
for hanging out.
Yeah.
This was really fun. A really fun way to end our GenCon Online streams. If you missed any of what we've been streaming over the past 3 or 4 days, going all the way back to the Inflight Report, they're all on our YouTube channel. So you can go check them out if you want to see us, unboxing Twilight Imperium or playing X-Men Mutant Insurrection like we did this morning, or anything. Hopefully you have enjoyed this Gen Con with us, even though we cannot be together in person. So remember to follow us on all our social channels. Subscribe here on Twitch or on YouTube. Thanks to Carolina Game Tables for this table. We'll see you guys next time.